In the headlines, finally, President Buhari signs electoral bill into law. Governor El-Rufai suggests simultaneous bombardment of bandits' camp to end banditry. Repentant Boko Haram could live a productive life, Vice President Osinbajo says government will give support. On the foreign scene, Ukraine says at least 137 killed in full-scale Russian military attack as Western powers announce a series of sanctions against Moscow. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ila. Thank you for joining us. The details now. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the long-awaited Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021 into law. The president signed the amendment bill into law at 12:25 p.m. at a brief ceremony attended by Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila of the House of Representatives, among others. He said the signed document comes with a great deal of improvement as it will engender transparency to the country's electoral process. President Buhari, however, asked the National Assembly to rework on the provisions that barred political appointees from electoral contest so that it could be in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has said that huge amount of money in the hands of bandits is enough to destabilize the country. The governor said this Thursday during the weekly briefing organized by the Presidential Communication Media Team at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. He said preliminary investigations had shown that some security operatives were part of terrorism financing ring.
The way to end this banditry is simultaneous military and ground operations. If we have the Air Force bombing the camps, we know where the camps are. We have the maps. We know everything. We have their phone numbers. We listen to their conversations sometimes. So, but it has to be done across the 5 states and Niger State at the same time. What we've been doing over the years is you go to Zamfara, you chase them out, they move to Sokoto. You go to Sokoto, you chase them out, they move to Kebbi. From Kebbi, they move to Katsina, Kaduna. And they move seamlessly because of the forest ranges. So what needs to be done is, at the same time, bomb the forests, bomb the camps, and have ground troops on the ground as a blocking force, consisting of the army, the police, the Air Force Special Forces, Navy Special Forces on the ground, and just wipe them out once and for all. Of course, that has risks because some of the camps may also contain innocent people that have been kidnapped. But this is war.
Gunmen have abducted the paramount ruler of Pushit district in Mangu local government area of Plateau State, Diket Upia. The police public relations officer in Plateau State, Uba Ogaba, who confirmed the incident, said the command has deployed some operatives for a possible rescue of the traditional ruler. Reports say the gunmen abducted the monarch in his palace in Pushit on Thursday night. Gupia's abduction is coming barely 2 months after gunmen abducted Charles Mato, the Sumpiam and paramount ruler in the neighboring Gindiri district, but later released after the payment of ransom. Staying with security matters, armed robbers on Thursday evening attacked 4 commercial banks in Uromi, Esan Northeast Council of Edo State, killing 7 persons and making away with an unspecified amount of cash. Police spokesman Bello Kontongs confirmed the incident, noting that 2 of their men and 5 others were killed in the coordinated attacks. Reports said that the armed men came in many vehicles and attacked the banks with dynamites and bullets, which caused panic in the community.
What is this? Oh no, it's very terrible. Jesus! Europe is on fire. Jesus. Please let your back. Favor, come. Come on the glass.
My God. Yeah, man. God. Say so.
Nigeria's House of Representatives on Thursday called for the immediate evacuation of Nigerians in Ukraine following reports of military action by Moscow. This followed a motion on matters of public importance on the urgent need to evaluate the level of threats to Nigerians studying and living in Ukraine. The lawmakers are worried that if strategic plans are not put in place to urgently secure and provide safe passage for Nigerian citizens, they may be trapped or even worse, harmed. Some lawmakers are, however, worried that this evacuation might be a little too late, as the government had enough time to evacuate citizens.
Bottlenecks. I think what is important now, if we actually have to look out for our citizens, especially the students, I think action needs to be taken now. And my thought is that the leader of the House and the chairman Foreign Affairs, are you prepared to jet off to Ukraine tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
I think the leader of the House, the chairman Foreign Affairs,
yes,
should liaise with the Foreign Affairs Ministry today.
With all sense of responsibility, sir.
If nothing positive comes out of that meeting and it's all about red tape, or we have to do this, we have to do that, I think you should liaise with the chairman, Air Peace.
Yes.
And whatever it's going to cost the House, whatever we need to do, I think we need to leave this. You need to leave this country latest tomorrow, and head to Ukraine and head on back by Monday with as many students or citizens who are willing to come back.
Meanwhile, former Nigerian ambassador to Russia, Ambassador Jibrin Chinade, in a previous interview with Trust TV, has called for de-escalation between Russia and Ukraine. He said there are over 12,000 Nigerian students in Ukraine alone.
Before I left, I was Nigerian ambassador to 15 countries, including Ukraine, because the Soviet Union broke up in 1991, and the split pieces became sovereign and independent since 1991, to which Ukraine was part of the then Soviet Union. We have a large number of Nigerian students there. When I was there, we had quite a number. But the last figure I got recently was that Nigeria has almost 12,000 students in Ukraine. So I know the country fairly well. It's a beautiful place, Kyiv, the capital, and we have many Nigerian students studying science, technology at the Ukrainian Institute of Science and Technology. We have a lot of Nigerians there.
Still on Russia-Ukraine crisis, National Association of Nigerian Students in Ukraine has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to immediately evacuate them home because of the ongoing military action in Ukraine. The students, in a letter signed by an executive of the union, Eunice Eleka, said gunshots and explosives have raided the territories occupied by Nigerian citizens. The students prayed the president to consider their request with urgency it calls for. Now, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the federal government will empower repentant Boko Haram members to be self-reliant. Osinbajo stated this while addressing repentant Boko Haram fighters at the Hajj camp of Air Force Base in Maiduguri. The Vice President is in Maiduguri on an official visit to Borno State to commission multiple projects and launching of MSME clinic.
To settle down and work as peaceful members of our country. And the desire of the federal government is to make sure that we settle you well so that you can do your own work and your business and you can live with your families in peace We'll be working with you and with the state government and with donor agencies and friends to ensure that we're able to provide you with a means of not just income but a place where you can settle down with your families and do your own work and do your own business.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Repentant sex workers get married. Details and more shortly.
Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update.
I'm Zainab Bala. For more news, follow us across all our social media platforms.
The nightmare that most of these Pape residents have dreaded for many years is finally happening.
The place is a skeleton of itself, a place that was once busy with patients trooping in and out.
I'm standing right now. I'm standing on top of the Maloney Hill in the ancient city of Kefi.
Cooperation. I know communities where they are contributing to buy locally manufactured gas to defend themselves.
Being a Nigerian entrepreneur, and I am going to be taking you on a journey to show you the beautiful, the motivational and resilient nature of Nigerian entrepreneurs.
Behind me is the Arewa Textile Mill, established in 1963 and eventually closed down in 2004.
We are still going into some other hideouts to see if any apprehensions will be made tonight.
Let's travel down to Shekau, a community in Yobe State, to talk to Shekau's mother on what she thinks about this development.
Well, even to be a magistrate is a funny thing.
Yes. Have things changed? Is there more corruption now in the judiciary? And what can we do about it?
Well, this is one of the internally displaced camps here in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital.
Thanks for staying. You're watching Trust News Update. Let's have another look at the top stories again. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the long-awaited Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021 into law. Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has said the huge amount of money in the hands of bandits is enough to destabilize the country. In other news, Nigeria's Center for Disease Control has recorded 34 new COVID-19 infections across the country on Thursday. The agency's data showed 17,989 discharges were recorded. The NCDC said the report included 17,984 community discharges from Lagos State and a backlog of discharges from Lagos from December 2021 to date. No death was recorded on Thursday, leaving the fatality figure at 3,142. Nigeria now has a total of 254,428 confirmed cases and 248,850 recoveries. Three suspects arrested in connection with the killing of Captain Abdul Karim Na'Allah, son of Senator Bala Na'Allah, have been arraigned before a Kaduna State High Court on Thursday. The suspects were alleged to have killed Captain Na'Allah on August 30th last year at his Malali residence in Kaduna. Fatima Laden has more.
Police in Kaduna paraded two suspects involved in the killing of Captain Na'Allah on September 16 last year, saying manhunt for one suspect at large has begun. Kaduna government files charges against the three defendants accused of criminal conspiracy, armed robbery and culpable homicide. The matter is brought before Justice Amina Bello of Kaduna State High Court formation. The State Solicitor General, Bayero Dari, speaks.
When the case was called, the first and second defendants are not represented by counsel. And you know, constitutionally, the nature of the charge, you can't proceed, you can't take any step without a representation for any defendant that is charged with that heinous crime like that. So that's why we advise the court to adjourn so that to enable the defendant get a lawyer to represent them in the proceedings. But fortunately, the third defendant has a counsel who had already applied for the bail of one of the defendants in court. We had already exchanged papers, we have filed our counter affidavit and written address to that effect. But we can't take that application because the three other defendants do not have lawyers. And it will infringe on their constitutional right to fair hearing, for the court to move on without representation. So that's why the court adjourned, and the directed that the Legal Aid Council of Kaduna State should supply legal representation.
Counsel for the third defendant, Avon Emmanuel, says bail application for his client is not rejected by the court.
My bail application was not rejected. It is the argument of the application that was adjourned to another date. But we believe in the innocence of our client, and he presently is very ill. And the Kaduna State Correctional Facility does not have the facilities to take care of his said ailments. That was what brought about our application for his bail on special circumstances.
Late Abdul Karim Na'Allah, a 36-year-old aircraft captain, was allegedly murdered in his Kaduna residence on 29th of August 2021. The case is adjourned to March 21st. Fatima Salaladan, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
A federal high court in Abuja will on Monday hear a bail application from suspended DCP Abba Kyari against his detention by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that the suspended head of the Intelligence Rapid Response Unit, IRT, is standing trial over alleged involvement in drug trafficking.
Abba Kyari's counsel, Cynthia Obianeju, had filed an ex parte application seeking bail for her client on health grounds. But the court turned down the request and instead ordered the counsel to serve the respondent with all the court processes. At the resumed hearing on Thursday, the applicant counsel told Justice Nyangeko that they had complied with court directive, but the respondent's counsel, Mike Hassan, told the court he is yet to be served with the bail application.
NDLA claimed that they were not served with the motion on notice and the order of the court made on the 21st February 2022. But honestly, we effected service on them through the bailiff of the Honorable Court, which the proof is in the court file. But court is mindful to grant them another 48 hours for them to reply to the application. I don't have a problem with that. Let them reply.
Justice Inyangeko stands down the matter for an hour to allow for the service and continuation of hearing. Moments later, the parties returned, but this time with a request by the respondents for additional time to peruse the motion. The trial judge, Justice Inyangeko, granted the respondents' request and adjourned to the 28th of this month as he advised parties to commit to an accelerated hearing in the matter. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
575 commercial sex workers in Bauchi State have been rehabilitated to begin a new life. The State Sharia Commission has commenced training for the repentant sex workers on various skill acquisition two repentant are married off. Adamu Imam has more.
At the flag of ceremony held at Tudun Wadan Danya Bayangari in Bauchi Metropolis, the training was organized by the Hizbah unit of the State Sharia Commission with the aim to empower the sex workers on various trades such as cosmetology, computer literacy, as well as micro-enterprise enhancement.
As you are all aware, and those who are following the trend of activities in the state knows that we, the people of Hizbah, that is staff of Hizbah and Bauchi Sharia Commission, we embark on a head count, in other words, census of the commercial sex workers who are living in this area. Alhamdulillah, we census not less than 575 commercial sex workers from various states. In fact, some are from Chad, some are from Cameroon. So we census them.
Barrister Issa maintained that the training will last for 3 months, therefore providing them with the working tools and seed capital to establish their businesses.
Out of these 575 commercial sex workers, they choose not less than 8 different businesses would they want to train on. For example, a lot of them choose issue of makeup, tailoring.
The State Commissioner for Religious Affairs, Alhaji Umar Odubo, says they are proud of the cooperation accorded to the present government and the state, while appealing for their total repentance on such act. The new marriage contract was conducted by the chief imam in the area between the two repentant sex workers, which drew the attention of many who reside at Bayangari. The new couples thank God and promise not to engage on prostitution any longer. Now that we are repentant and got married, God will give us the wisdom, because I'm a businessman selling tea and indomie at one joint in this area.
When we started, I went to the State Sharia Commission on our mission that I need to get married. They asked me, "Are you sure? Did you get a husband to marry?" I said, "Yes." "So you want to leave these ugly activities?" Again, I replied, "Yes." They promised to make necessary arrangements, and here we are.
The Sharia Commission assures they will give them equal and fair treatment to make them more productive in the society. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
President Muhammadu Buhari says some projects executed by both federal and state government attest to the fact that providing infrastructure is critical for good governance. The president said this while inaugurating the project in Nasarawa State. Abubakar Abdullahi has the story.
President Muhammadu Buhari is visiting Nasarawa State for the first time since the assumption of Abdullahi Sule as governor of the state. The reason for the 2 days working visit is for the project commissioning, which according to the president, while inaugurating them, have direct impact on the citizens. On arrival, President Buhari was received at the newly built airport in Lafia, which he instantly inaugurated. Also inaugurated are bus terminal, Vocational Technology Institute, Lafia branch of CBN, and 330 kV power substation in Akurba. For carrying out projects that will improve the life of the citizenry, President Buhari commended Governor Abdullahi Sule of the state. The president was also at the palace of Emir of Lafia, where he appreciated the people of the state, urging the traditional rulers as well as other leaders to sustain qualitative engagement with their subjects.
So much has been done that I couldn't find my way out from the time I came last. We do not abuse the trust God has given us by giving us this leadership in various steps.
There has never been one time that I have visited Mr. President on the area of security and he did not respond immediately. And that's what the substation, which graciously this administration has provided to us, Lafia as a community, and to the state. We have taken out 80% of our property.
3 governors of Kogi, Kebbi, and Plateau State, as well as the deputy governors of Benue and Ebonyi State, were in the state as part of the president's visit. Abubakar Abdullahi, Trust TV News.
And in business news, International Monetary Fund (IMF) says the long-term rate of the depreciation of the naira equates to a loss of 10.6% of its value annually since 1973. The Washington-based lender stated this in its Nigeria Selected Issues Paper report. According to the IMF, the rate is 1.5 times higher than the long-term rate of the currencies of other emerging market and developing economies at 7.2% and sub-Saharan Africa at 7% over the same time period. According to the IMF, Nigeria utilized an exchange rate anchoring strategy, shifting from a flexible regime to a fixed one in 2004, adding that while it might have helped to stabilize the nation's inflation expectations in the interim, it unraveled in 2015 as the global oil price crashed, plunged the naira into a spell of large repeated depreciation. And on the foreign scene, Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky says at least 137 have been killed in full-scale Russian military attack as Western powers announce a series of sanctions against Moscow. Russia launched a full-scale military attack on Ukraine that opened with air and missile attacks on Ukrainian military facilities before troops and tanks rolled across the borders from the north, east and south. The Ukrainian military has fought back on multiple fronts, but hundreds of people have been reported injured. A senior United States defense official said Russia may be intent on seizing Kyiv, the capital, and other key cities, and ultimately installing a more friendly government. As Ukrainian forces fought back and civilians piled into trains and cars to flee, the US and European leaders rushed to punish Russia with strong financial sanctions. And with that, we wrap up Trust News Update, but you can connect with us via our social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.